Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled. Today, we're diving into a world where AI, well, it's really moving beyond just those clever chatbots we've gotten used to.
hmm
We're seeing some truly revolutionary shifts happening, things impacting everything from, how medicine works to the actual physical infrastructure around us.
Absolutely. It feels like more than just small steps forward. It's kind of a fundamental reshaping of what AI can do.
And it's happening fast.
It really is.
Yeah.
And here on Tomorrow Unveiled, our mission really is to cut through all that noise, all the daily AI headlines.
There are so many.
Exactly. We want to highlight the most significant breakthroughs from just the past week. The ones our dedicated research team found are genuinely corroborated. They've compiled information that paints a really clear picture. AI seems to be entering this new, more mature phase.
So the goal is to give you, our listeners, a shortcut, a way to stay informed about what's really happening on the cutting edge, right?
Precisely, focusing on those underlying transformations.
Okay. And what our research team pulled together this week, it points to, what, four big themes, all kind of connected.
That's right, four major themes that really signal this new phase. First up is specialization.
Specialization, so AI getting really focused.
Exactly. Moving away from just general-purpose models and tackling very specific, often high-stakes problems. Think healthcare, finance.
Okay, makes sense. What's number two?
Second is adaptability. This is fascinating. New ways for AI to learn that let it adjust dynamically even after it's been deployed.
Wow, okay. Learning on the job, sort of?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for handling new situations out in the real world.
And third?
Third is embodiment. This is about bridging that gap between the digital AI and the computer and the physical world.
So getting AI into robots, basically, making them smarter, more capable.
You got it. Advanced robotics. Because ultimately, AI needs to interact with our physical world to really integrate.
Makes total sense. And the last one?
And finally, none of this happens in a vacuum. It's the enabling infrastructure.
Right.
All the crucial hardware and software stuff that makes these big AI models possible, efficient, and scalable.
Right, the backbone that holds it all up. Okay, let's unpack that first one then. Specialization. Our research team flagged a huge story here, especially in healthcare.
Yes, a really big one. It revolves around Google's Medjama.
Medjama. Okay, what is it?
So what's really interesting is that Google released it as an open family of models. Multimodal, meaning it handles different types of data, and specifically built for medicine.
Open source. That seems significant for healthcare.
Hugely significant. It's
Right.
not just a massive 27 billion parameter model. It also comes with a specialized tool called MedSiglip for understanding medical images. But that open nature, plus the licensing that lets hospitals deploy it locally on their own hardware, that directly tackles those huge worries about patient privacy, HEP, GDPR.
So they can keep the sensitive data in-house? That overcomes a major barrier, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a strategic move.
And technically, what's under the hood? Our team mentioned it's built on Gemma 3.
Right, built on their Gemma 3 architecture. And it has a massive context window, 128,000 tokens.
Okay, translate that for us. What does 128,000 tokens mean in practice?
It means it can process a lot of text at once. Think like an entire patient's medical history spanning years, or dozens of dense research papers. It allows for really deep understanding.
Wow.
And here's the really transformative part, that MedSiglip image encoder. It was trained on enormous, diverse sets of de-identified medical data.
What kind of data?
Chest x-rays, dermatology photos, eye scans, even pathology slides. Because it's trained on medical images, it learns to spot subtle clinical patterns that a general AI would just miss.
Got it. Specialized training for specialized tasks.
Exactly. Plus, it's also trained on structured EHR data, that's electronic health record data, formatted using the FHIR standard. That helps it understand a patient's health journey over time.
Okay, so the potential impact sounds massive. What are we seeing already?
Well, the immediate impact is in research. It drastically lowers the barrier for scientists analyzing these huge, complex data sets. We're already hearing about places like Deep Health using MedSiglip for triaging x-rays, or Changgung Memorial Hospital in Taiwan using Medjama to make sense of Chinese medical literature. That's a big win for accessibility.
And looking maybe a bit further out, say midterm.
Midterm, you can absolutely see this augmenting clinical work. Imagine AI drafting initial radiology reports for review or summarizing long patient records for doctors.
That could save a lot of time.
A huge amount. Or powering smarter patient intake forms, or even being the core engine for clinical decision support systems.
And long term, the really big vision.
Long term, Because it understands that longitudinal EHR data so well, it really opens the door to truly personalized medicine. Things like predicting individual risk for diseases or planning treatments tailored specifically to you.
Okay, it sounds incredibly promising, but medical AI, that feels high stakes. What are the challenges or limitations our research team pointed out?
Yeah, absolutely high stakes. One key challenge is just managing the vast amounts of data AI needs while following all the privacy rules and, keeping control over that data.
Right, data sovereignty.
Exactly. And Medjama's local deployment option is a direct answer to that. Keep your data on your servers. Another big one is algorithmic bias. If the training data isn't representative of everyone,
Then the AI might not work as well for certain groups.
precisely. It could underestimate care needs for some demographics or be less accurate for darker skin tones in dermatology, for example. Rigorous auditing and careful data curation are ethically essential.
Makes sense. And what about just accuracy? Can we trust it? Hallucinations are a thing with AI, right?
That's a critical point, especially in medicine. An AI making stuff up or just being confidently wrong, that's dangerous. Our research has noted Google is very clear. Medjama is for research and development. It is not ready for clinical use straight out of the box.
Okay, so the responsibility for validating it, for proving it's safe and effective for a specific use case, that falls on the hospital or the company implementing it.
Absolutely. Extensive testing, human oversight non-negotiable before it sees a real patient.
Looking at this strategically, what's Google's play here with Medjama? Why go open source?
It definitely feels like a platform play.
Yeah.
By making Medjama open, they're building trust in a really cautious, regulated industry. They're seeding an ecosystem.
Okay.
As hospitals and researchers start using Medjama, fine-tuning it, validating it, that takes serious computing power.
And where will they likely go for that power?
The easiest path, Google Cloud. Using their specialized hardware like TPUs and services like Vertex AI. So they give away the model, build the community, and then become the go-to infrastructure provider for medical AI down the line. It's a smart long game.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's shift gears to that second theme, adaptability. This one really jumped out at me. AI that can learn after it's trained.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff. Our research team flagged a breakthrough from MIT called test time training, or TTT. It kind of challenges the whole idea that AI models are static once they're trained.
Static meaning.
Yeah.
They know what they were trained on, and that's it.
Pretty much. TTT is different. The core idea is that a pre-trained model can temporarily update its own internal parameters right when it gets a new tricky task at inference time.
Temporarily, so it learns something new just for that one problem.
Yeah, exactly. And the performance boost can be huge. The research showed up to a 6-fold improvement in accuracy on complex reasoning problems, like those visual IQ puzzles.
Wow. Okay, how is that different from, say, in-context learning? Lots of us use LLMs where you give them examples in the prompt.
Good question. That's a key difference. In-context learning, ICL, uses examples as context, like giving the model hints in the prompt, but it doesn't actually change the model's underlying parameters. TTT, on the other hand, uses those few examples to perform actual gradient-based updates. It tweaks its internal knowledge temporarily. It's like the model does a quick cram session for a specific question.
And it uses something called LoRi to do that efficiently.
Right. It uses techniques like LoRa low-rank adaptation to make these temporary updates quickly without having to retrain the entire massive model. Then, after it solves the problem, it basically discards those updates and goes back to its original state.
Okay, mind blown a little bit. What are the potential applications here? This sounds like it could be useful in, well, lots of places.
For sure. Think about a business facing some totally new, unexpected supply chain mess. TTT could let an AI adapt its thinking based on just a few examples of the current situation to generate custom solutions.
Okay, dynamic problem solving.
Or in science, a model studying new material or biological system could adapt on the fly as new experimental data comes in, helping generate new hypotheses much faster.
Right, and maybe even hyper-personalized help, like a support chatbot.
Exactly. Imagine a chatbot that could really deeply understand your unique, super rare technical problem by temporarily specializing its knowledge just for your session.
That would be amazing. But as always, there have to be trade-offs, right? What are the catches our research team found with TTT?
The biggest one right now is speed, or lack thereof, latency.
It takes time to do that temporary learning step.
It does. A query that might take seconds normally could take 5 or even 10 minutes with TTT. So it's not suitable for things that need instant answers, like real-time conversation or control systems.
Okay, so it's more for deep analysis, where accuracy is way more important than speed.
Precisely. High-value offline tasks where getting the absolute best answer is worth the wait. Another challenge is making sure it doesn't overfit.
Meaning it learns too much from just those few examples.
Yeah, potentially becoming too specialized on that one tiny data set and losing its general knowledge. Ensuring stability when parameters are changing like that is a tricky technical problem.
And actually deploying this must be complex too. Setting up systems that allow models to train themselves in production.
Definitely. It requires a different kind of infrastructure than standard static model deployment. Adds complexity.
This really feels like it could change how we even think about paying for AI compute.
I think so too. TTT points towards this idea of compute as reasoning. It suggests that maybe deeper thinking isn't just about having a bigger model.
You can sort of buy more reasoning power when you need it.
Exactly, by throwing more computation at the problem at inference time. You can imagine future AI services with tiers, fast and cheap for simple stuff, and a premium, slower, deep reasoning option using TTT for the really hard problems.
Maybe the AI could even decide for itself when to spend that extra effort.
That's the long-term vision. An AI that manages its own cognitive load, deciding when a problem warrants firing up the TTT process.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, before we get into AI stepping into the physical world, just a quick reminder for everyone listening. If you're finding Tomorrow Unveiled insightful, and we hope you are, please take just a second to like this video if you're on YouTube, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, and definitely hit that notifications bell so you don't miss future updates.
And if you're listening on a podcast service, maybe Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave Tomorrow Unveiled a rating and review. It really does help new listeners discover us.
Absolutely. Okay, so embodiment, AI getting physical. What does this mean for robots? Our research team highlighted something from MIT called PhysicsGen.
That's right. PhysicsGen tackles a really fundamental problem in robotics, getting enough good training data.
Robots don't have the equivalent of the entire internet to learn from, like language models do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Learning physical interaction is hard because there isn't a massive, readily available data set of robots doing things successfully in the real world. PhysicsGen aims to generate that data, specifically physically realistic data, at a scale large enough to train maybe even a foundation model for robots.
A foundation model for robots? Wow. Okay. How does it generate this data? It sounds complicated.
It's a pretty clever three-stage process.
Yeah.
First, a human actually performs the task, but in VR.
In virtual reality, okay.
Yeah, so they might demonstrate picking up an object. The system captures the key movements of their hand. This gives it a sort of high-level intuitive strategy.
Got it. Human intuition as the starting point. Then what?
Stage 2 is kinematic retargeting. It takes that human motion data and programmatically adapts it to fit the specific capabilities and constraints of a target robot model, like a particular robotic hand with multiple fingers. It translates the human's general idea into something the robot could physically do.
Okay, makes sense. Adapting it for the robot's body. And the third stage, that's where the physics comes in.
Precisely. This is the demonstration-guided trajectory optimization stage. Using that retargeted motion as a starting point, it runs thousands and thousands of physics-based simulations.
Thousands. Why so many?
To explore all the different physically plausible ways the robot could actually achieve the goal. It optimizes the trajectory, considering things like dynamics, friction, how objects might slip and tumble. This grounds the initial human idea in the hard reality of physics and generates a rich data set of diverse, successful ways to do the task.
This could be huge for manufacturing, logistics. I can imagine robots getting much better at tricky things like grabbing objects from a bin or complex assembly.
Absolutely. And it enables things like virtual commissioning testing and refining the robot's programming in simulation before you even install the physical hardware on the factory floor. Our team noted studies showing like a 30% jump in task success rates for collaborative robots using this kind of data. That's significant.
30%. Wow. And what about healthcare or assistive tech?
This is really foundational there, too. Be able to accurately simulate robots manipulating rigid objects, especially with lots of contact points, is a necessary step before you can reliably simulate interaction with soft, deformable things, like human tissue.
So it's a stepping stone towards more advanced surgical robots, or maybe better prosthetics.
Exactly. Or assistive robots for elder care that can safely handle objects and interact physically with people.
But even with PhysicsGen, we're not quite at the point of having C-3PO walking around, are we? What are the big hurdles still?
Definitely not yet. The biggest hurdle is probably still the sim-to-real gap.
Sim to real, meaning what works perfectly in the simulation doesn't always work in the messy real world.
Exactly. Tiny differences in friction, object weight, lighting, things not perfectly modeled in the sim, they can cause a robot trained purely in simulation to fail. PhysicsGen helps, but it doesn't completely solve it.
Okay. What else?
Scalability and materials are another issue. Right now, a lot of this work focuses on rigid objects because they're easier to simulate. Soft, squishy, or deformable materials. Much, much harder computationally.
Right, interacting with cloth or food or people is way more complex than picking up a metal block.
For sure. And then there's safety, especially for robots working near humans. It's not just about not bumping into people. We need robots whose behavior is predictable, understandable, reliable. That requires robust perception and control systems way beyond simple collision avoidance.
It sounds like, similar to Medjama maybe, this is really a strategic bet on data being the key to unlocking robotics.
I think that's exactly right. PhysicsGen isn't just a robotics project. It's fundamentally a data generation project. It's trying to create the equivalent of the massive text data sets that powered large language models, but for the physical world.
The text of the physical world, I like that.
Yeah. Robotics has been data-starved compared to language AI. PhysicsGen is trying to synthetically create that missing data by combining human intuition from VR with the rigor of physics simulation and optimization. They even talk about using random internet videos of people doing things as starting points for future simulations. It's all about generating that foundational data.
Okay, so behind all these amazing AI models and robotic simulations, there's that fourth theme, the infrastructure, the stuff that actually makes it run. Our research team found some key developments there too, right? Things making AI faster, cheaper, more accessible.
Absolutely crucial developments. Take Cerebras, for example. They announced their Qwen 3 235B model.
Yeah.
It's super fast, huge context window, 131,000 tokens, and they claim it runs inference 30 times faster at 1/10 the cost.
How do they manage that?
It runs on their unique hardware, these massive wafer-scale chips, basically a whole silicon wafer turned into one giant processor designed specifically for AI. And it uses a technique called mixture of experts, or MOE.
MOE. Like having lots of smaller specialists working together instead of one giant brain?
Kind of, yeah. It routes tasks to specialized parts of the model, which can be much more efficient. So Cerebras is pushing the envelope on raw hardware and model architecture efficiency.
Okay, what else? Cloudia.
Right. Cloudia did something interesting with storage. They integrated the Milvus vector database, which is specialized for handling the kind of data AI models use, these numerical embeddings, directly into their Hyperstore object storage system.
So storage and the AI database in one place, what's the benefit?
It eliminates a major bottleneck, moving massive amounts of vector data between a separate storage system and a separate vector database. Keeping it all together makes querying that data for AI applications much faster and simpler. It's a one-stop shop approach.
Makes sense. Less data shuffling means faster AI. And SambaNova, they're focused on deployment speed.
Exactly. Getting complex AI systems up and running in an enterprise can take ages, like 18 to 24 months sometimes. SambaNova introduced Samba Managed, a turnkey AI inference solution they claim can be deployed in just 90 days.
90 days versus maybe 2 years. That's a huge difference.
Massive difference. Plus, they say it reduces power and cooling needs, too. It's all about lowering the barrier for companies to actually use advanced AI.
And for the absolute biggest AI jobs, Exascale computing.
Our team highlighted Wicca's neural mesh Axon. It's a storage system specifically designed for those enormous AI workloads. They're claiming up to 20 times faster AI performance because it's built to feed data to GPUs incredibly quickly, keeping them busy over 90% of the time.
So it tackles the I/O bottleneck, getting data to the processors fast enough.
Precisely. When you have thousands of expensive GPUs, you don't want them sitting idle waiting for data. Wicca's focused on eliminating that wait time for extreme-scale AI.
Looking at all these infrastructure pieces together, it's more than just incremental improvements, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. These aren't just product updates. They represent a fundamental shift. They're lowering the barrier for all kinds of enterprises, not just the tech giants, to adopt and benefit from advanced AI. They're making AI as a service rollouts faster, maximizing the efficiency of very expensive compute resources. It's really about democratizing access and improving the fundamental economics of AI deployment. AI-specific infrastructure is becoming its own crucial field of innovation.
Okay, let's try to bring this all together. Summing up our deep dive here on Tomorrow Unveiled, we've really seen 3, maybe 4 key transformations bubbling up just this week. First, That definite shift to specialized AI.
Exemplified by Medjama. AI diving deep into specific high-stakes areas like medicine, using open approaches to build trust and meet real industry needs.
Then second, that amazing work on dynamic, adaptive learning AI that learns on the fly with things like MIT's test time training.
Right, unlocking new ways to tackle complex problems where accuracy is everything, letting AI solve things it wasn't explicitly trained for. Huge potential there.
And third, AI really starting to engage with the physical world through robotics, with systems like PhysicsGen tackling that critical bottleneck of generating realistic training data.
Laying the groundwork for much smarter, more capable robots by creating that text of the physical world.
And underpinning all of it, that fourth theme, the constant innovation in infrastructure, making AI faster, cheaper, more efficient, and accessible to more people.
Yeah, the backbone enabling everything else. Our research team's findings really suggest AI is moving into a more practical, diverse, and honestly more valuable phase.
So looking ahead based on these trends, what does the near future look like? What does our research team anticipate?
Well, we'll almost certainly see more domain-specific foundation models popping up, following that Medjama playbook, maybe a FinGemma for finance, a legal Gemma.
Makes sense. Specialization continues. What else?
We'll likely see adaptability become a commercial service. TTT as a service for companies needing that premium deep reasoning for tough analytical problems.
Okay. And in robotics,
Expect a kind of arms race to build better and bigger simulation engines and data pipelines like PhysicsGen. Generating high-fidelity sim-to-real data at scale will be a major competitive area.
and just the pace of development.
It feels like it's accelerating. Research ideas are getting operationalized much faster now, moving from concept to working systems in months, not years. The whole cycle is speeding up.
And the big models themselves, like GPT-5 or whatever comes next.
Continued push for bigger, but also more efficient models, better multimodal understanding, handling text, images, maybe audio and video seamlessly, longer context windows to grasp even more information, and also AI starting to work more collaboratively, frameworks for multiple AI agents working together on complex enterprise tasks. That's another big area emerging.
So as AI keeps surprising us, getting embedded more deeply into sensitive areas, into the physical world, what's the big question we should be thinking about?
Maybe it's this. As these tools become astonishingly powerful, especially at scale and interacting with our physical lives, how do we collectively ensure they're not just technically brilliant, but also ethically sound, safe, and genuinely beneficial for everyone?
That's not just a technical challenge, is it?
Not at all. It requires constant vigilance, thoughtful governance, and broad collaboration from researchers, companies, policymakers, and the public. It's an ongoing conversation we all need to be part of.
A really important point to end on. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app, please drop a comment and let us know what you think about AI Unveiled this week in AI News.
Thanks so much for joining us on Tomorrow Unveiled. We look forward to unpacking more of the future with you next time.